Okay, this is O level 2004 paper 1 question 6. Which volume of sulfur dioxide is formed when 9.6 gram of zinc sulfide is heated in the air? So the chemical equation has been provided to you. So you're given 9.6 gram of zinc sulfide. This is zinc sulfide, 9.6 grams. So you're given the mass for zinc sulfide. You're required to find the volume of sulfur dioxide. So same thing, whatever information you're given, you try to convert it to mole. Okay, so basically you can rewrite the chemical equation so that it becomes clearer to you. Okay, you have 9.7 gram of zinc sulfide. So let's try to change it in mole, because in order to find out the volume of sulfur dioxide, the volume of sulfur dioxide is related to zinc sulfide. So you can look at the mole ratio, 2 mole to 2 mole. But before that, the mass must be converted to the number of mole. So how do you convert mass to mole? According to the formula triangle, in order to find the number of mole, mass divided by mR. So in order to find out the number of mole, you have to take the mass, which is given to you, 9.7 gram, divided by the mR. Now the mR for zinc sulfide, so you have to add up the individual AR. Zinc, what is the AR? Is the top number. Zinc, the AR is 65. Sulfur, the AR is 32. So it's 65 plus 32. 65 plus 32, and that would give you 9.7 divided by 97, and that would give you 0.1. So it's 0.1 mole. Now the mole ratio for zinc sulfide and SO2, which is sulfur dioxide, the mole ratio according to the equation here is 2 mole to 2 mole. So 2 mole to 2 mole, which is basically the same with 1 mole to 1 mole. Now you have 0.1 mole of zinc sulfide. So likewise, you should produce 0.1 mole of sulfur dioxide. Now 0.1 mole of sulfur dioxide, what would be the volume occupied at room temperature and pressure? Now according to the formula, we know that 1 mole of any gas at room temperature and pressure will occupy volume of 24 dm cube. 1 mole occupy 24 dm cube. Therefore 0.1 mole will occupy, so this 0.1 mole of sulfur dioxide, the volume would be 0.1 times 24, and that would give you 2.4 dm cube. So 2.4 dm cube would be the answer. So the answer for this question is 2.4 dm cube. Okay, now let's go to the next question. The next question is year 2005 paper 1 question 6. Now let's look at this question. Propane burns completely in oxygen as shown in the equation below. Okay, if 0.1 mole of propane, so propane obviously is this one, 0.1 mole, is burnt completely, which volume of gaseous product is obtained, measured at room temperature and pressure? Now the volume of gaseous product, that means product which is actually a gas. Now these are the products on the right hand side of the equation, are the products. Now which of these products is gas? So this is the only product which is a gas. Therefore you have to find out the volume of carbon dioxide. H2O is liquid, it is not a gas. So in this question, given 0.1 mole of propane, you have to find out the volume of carbon dioxide produced. Now again, from this balanced chemical equation, we know that 1 mole of propane would produce 3 mole of carbon dioxide. So the mole ratio for propane and carbon dioxide is actually 1:3. The question says 0.1 mole of propane. So now we have 0.1 mole of propane. How many mole of carbon dioxide do you think it will produce? 1:3. That means 1 times 3 equals to 3. Likewise, 0.1 times 3, which is 0.3 mole of carbon dioxide. Now, 0.3 mole of carbon dioxide, how much is the volume occupied at room temperature and pressure? Again, from the formula, we know that 1 mole of any gas will occupy volume of 24 dm³. Now we have 0.3 mole of carbon dioxide, therefore the volume occupied at room temperature and pressure will be 0.3 mole times 24, which is 0.3 mole times 24, which is 7.2 dm³. So this will be the answer, 7.2 dm³. Okay. Now let's go on to the next question. Now this is a long question. This one is O-Level 2007, Paper 1, Question 6. The compound iron 2 sulfide contains iron and sulfur in the proportion 7 gram of iron to 4 gram of sulfur. It is made by heating iron and sulfur together. Now from the first question, from the first sentence, from the first paragraph, we can summarize it to be like this. Iron it is made by heating iron and sulfur together. So iron plus sulfur would give you iron 2 sulfide. Iron and sulfur together, and I heat it, will give you iron 2 sulfide. This is a word equation. You don't have to worry about the chemical equation because the question doesn't ask you to write down the chemical equation. And then the proportion of iron and sulfur in iron sulfide would be 7 gram of iron. So you have 7 gram of iron, it will combine with 4 gram of sulfur. It is made, okay? And then of course your iron sulfide, when they combine together, there should not be any loss in mass because iron sulfide is the only product. So your iron sulfide should weigh 11 gram, which is 7 plus 4 gram. You'll get 11 gram. Now, the next paragraph. A powdered mixture of 7 gram of iron and 7 gram of sulfur is heated. Now, this is actually the theory. Now is in an experiment, in an experiment, you have 7 grams of iron and 7 grams of sulfur. Okay, both of them are heated. So by right, you should get iron 2 sulfide as well. Okay, they are heated. It says no gases are released during the reaction. So you should get iron 2 sulfide. Now what is present in the final mixture? That means when I heat these two together, what do I get? Now over here, in order for you to combine iron and sulfur, every 7 grams of iron, you need 4 grams of sulfur. But in the experiment, same thing, we use 7 grams of iron, but we use 7 grams of sulfur as well. So meaning that this sulfur, you have an extra, 3 grams. You don't need so many, you don't need so much 7 grams, you only need 4 grams. For every 7 grams of iron, you only need 4 grams of sulfur. But in the experiment, we use 7 grams. That means we have extra of 3 grams. And this extra of 3 grams should be in the product, should be left over. Okay, so same thing, we'll get 11 grams of iron sulfide because we use 7 grams and 7 grams here, but 7 grams here is actually more than enough excess. Okay, so actually only use 7 grams and 4 grams would produce 11 grams of iron sulfide. So what is remaining is you still get your 11 grams of iron sulfide plus actually the 3 grams of sulfur. Because this 3 grams of sulfur is extra. Extra means that it will not react. It will not react means that at the end of the reaction, it will be just left there. So this should be your product for the experiment. Now, so what is present in the final mixture? So in the final mixture, same thing, you get 11 grams of iron sulfide. You get 3 grams of sulfur because this 3 grams of sulfur is extra. You don't get any iron left because all the iron would have reacted. So the answer should be B. Okay, 11 grams of iron sulfide, 3 grams of sulfur is the extra. So the answer is B. Now let's look at the next question. O level 2008, paper 1, question 6. Okay, 20 cm cube of aqueous 1 mole per dm cube lithium hydroxide exactly neutralizes 40 cm cube of aqueous 0.25 mole per dm cube of sulfuric acid. What is the formula for lithium sulfate? Now this question, actually you don't need to, the first paragraph, actually the information in the first paragraph is not needed. Formula for lithium sulfate. This question actually asks you about the formula for this ionic compound, lithium sulfate. Now lithium is group 1. Okay, lithium is a group 1 element. So all the group 1 element, they will form 1 plus ion. So your lithium, since it is in group 1, therefore it will form 1 plus ion. And sulfate, you know that this is one of the ions, the formula for the ions which you need to remember. The sulfate ion is SO4 2 negative. So this is actually an ionic compound, a positive ion and a negative ion combined together. So how do you write the formula for the ionic compound? Just cross multiply, you get Li 2 SO4. So this will be the formula for lithium sulfate. So the answer is A. Again, the first paragraph information is actually not needed. You can go straight to lithium sulfate, find out the formula for this ionic compound called lithium sulfate.